If you'd told me a year ago that the quietest street in Meadowbrook Estates would become the stage for the wildest courtroom meltdown in HOA history, I would have laughed. Honestly, we just wanted peace. But let me tell you, when my pregnant wife Sarah and I moved into our little blue house, we had no idea we were about to meet a woman whose hobby was turning neighbors' lives into living hell for sport. Her name, Karen Whitmore. You can probably picture her already, right? Yeah, that's her binoculars by the window, hair sprayed to perfection like she's on some mission from the Queen herself. I'm Michael Torres, but nobody around here knew I was a state judge. Figured if people found out, I'd never get a quiet barbecue again, you know? So I played along, waved politely, paid the HOA dues, and tried not to ruffle feathers. Meanwhile, Karen was out there, ruler in one hand, clipboard in the other, measuring grass like her mortgage depended on it. At first, I thought maybe she just wanted the place to look nice. But oh no, she had a thing for power. And when Sarah started showing that power trip went off the rails. I wish I was exaggerating. The first month was just silly. Citations for the garage door being open while we hauled groceries. Letters in all caps about unauthorized flowers because apparently sunflowers and red roses are a criminal offense if they're not pale yellow. The final straw for Sarah was when Karen made her move her favorite bench, a gift from her grandma, just because it didn't match the aesthetic. You ever watch someone you love try to smile through tears just to avoid another fight? Hurts more than any fine ever could. But then, like the world's worst sitcom, the harassment kept coming. As Sarah's belly got bigger, so did Karen's complaints. Now it was her maternity clothes weren't modest enough, or that our baby shower decorations were lowering property values. No kidding, she actually tried to claim our visible crib was advertising that we were going to breed the wrong demographic. If you think I'm making this up, you're giving humanity too much credit. The stress started getting to Sarah. Hospital visits, sleepless nights, doctor's warnings about blood pressure. One week, while she was on strict bed rest, Karen filed 17 violations. Why? Because the newspapers piled up. Because I was in and out caring for my wife, not the yard. Because the delivery van with the hospital bed blocked the street for more than 15 minutes. I called her hoping maybe she'd act human for 5 minutes. Nope. If you can't maintain your property, maybe a trailer park is more your speed, she snapped, cold as ice, tossing in that ugly people like you. With a smirk. I could hear through the phone. Let me back up a sec. This wasn't just about us. I started hearing from neighbors, quiet folks, old couples, young families, anyone who didn't fit Karen's vision. The Johnsons got fined 43 times in 2 years. Their only crime was grass clippings in a slightly crooked mailbox. The Mitchell kids got screamed at for chalk drawings. Imagine yelling at a 6-year-old over hopscotch. Karen was weaponizing the HOA, picking off anyone she didn't like, one family at a time. Well, I'm a judge. I know a pattern when I see one. I kept records, letters, photos, recordings, even neighbor testimonials. It wasn't just pettiness, it was calculated abuse. So I did what I do best, built a case. Not just a slap on the wrist HOA complaint. No, I went federal harassment, discrimination, civil rights violations, the whole kitchen sink. We were assigned Judge Wells. Tough fare didn't know me from Adam. Karen, on the other hand, showed up with an entourage dressed for war, convinced her little empire was untouchable. Here's where it gets wild. In discovery, we find emails, dozens, where Karen spells out her mission. Make those people so miserable they'll leave on their own. She wrote, "We cannot allow their kind to establish a foothold in our community." That's not just prejudice, that's intent in black and white. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared us for her performance in court. Opening statements went our way. Our lawyer, Maria, laid out the evidence, showed every nasty little trick Karen pulled. Even when Karen's attorney tried to make it sound like we were the troublemakers, nobody was buying it. Then the cross-exam started, and Karen cracked. "You're saying the Torres family broke more rules than everyone else?" Maria asked. "They did?" Karen hissed, getting red. "More than the Hendersons with their boat in the driveway for months. They respect the community." Karen shot back, "They're not like them." It was like watching a mask slip off in slow motion. Suddenly, Karen's really shouting about standards and not letting people like them breed. She actually points at my wife and says, "We can't let them turn this place into a ghetto." The whole room went silent. Sarah's sobbing, clutching her belly. "I'm seeing red." Then Karen demands with a straight face the death penalty for this woman. For what? For being pregnant, for standing up to her, for not knowing our place. The judge's gavel might as well have been a starter pistol. Cameras went off, people gasped. Karen's own lawyer nearly fainted. Judge Wells hit her with a permanent ban from HOA leadership, reported her to the DA, and ordered an investigation for hate crimes. Karen fell apart, crying too late. Her face was everywhere by sundown. News ran with it. HOA president demands death penalty for pregnant resident. By sunrise, she'd lost her job, her husband filed for divorce, her kids wouldn't speak to her, and the HOA ousted her fast as you please. It didn't end there. All the families Karen bullied joined us for a class action. We won millions in damages, new HOA leadership, and the old discriminatory bylaws tossed out for good. Meanwhile, Sarah gave birth to Elena Rose, a perfect, healthy little girl. The block threw a party. Neighbors brought gifts. Even the Hendersons apologized for turning a blind eye. You know what it felt like, a real community for the first time. Karen moved out of state. Nobody would hire her. Nobody would rent to her, and every Google search linked her name with that courtroom disaster. She sent a sad letter begging forgiveness, but Sarah just shook her head. She wasn't sorry, just sorry she got caught. 2 years on, Meadowbrook Estates is everything we dreamed. Block parties, real friendships. Kids' play dates, support when anyone needs it. Elena's a little celebrity. The HOA's fair, transparent, focused on community, not control. Karen. Her name's a warning in law school lectures and civil rights classes. The case set a national precedent, showed everyone just how ugly HOA power games can get, and how justice, when good people stand up, really can fix what hate tries to break. Now, sometimes when Sarah and I watch Elena run through the grass where Karen's house used to stand, I wonder, what if I'd told folks I was a judge right away? But I'm glad I didn't. We found out who really cared, who'd stand up when it counted. That's the world I want for my daughter. A world where people don't just say the right thing because they're scared, but because it's right. And here's the part that matters, right? All that hate, all that drama, none of it survived. What's left is laughter, friendship, a neighborhood better than before, and a little girl growing up never knowing how close darkness came. That's real justice, if you ask me. So let me throw it back to you. Have you ever seen an HOA go off the rails like that? Where do you draw the line between enforcing the rules and crossing over into tyranny? Drop your thoughts below. Because let's be honest, there's always someone out there who needs to hear what's right and what's just.